So tell us why you, Susan Clear, why you got into dragon
Why
boating.
you are on boat.
I know. Why I'm still on a boat 4 years later. I don't know. You arrive and I think you come to a new country and don't know what's available. And when I arrived, a friend was here and she said, going out dragon boating on Sunday. And I couldn't have told you what a dragon boat looked like. You know, let alone had I never done. I knew nothing about it. It wasn't something that had ever entered my mind. And so I went along to the north end of Hohai one Sunday afternoon.
Oh, the Hohai ones. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I was heard of. Yes, yes, yes.
I think
the
we're getting
Hohai
pretty
one.
infamous now. So it's been going for about just under 10 years.
10?
And so with the international team has been going. So I just went along one Sunday afternoon, end of the season. So about this time 3 years ago and got caught up in it. You know, it's an awesome thing to do. You are out on the banks of Hohai, which most of the time is beautiful.
The banks of.
Yeah, and you jump in your boat and we paddle up and down on Hohai and we're not quiet, we're a relatively outgoing group and so, we're jar-yoing up and down the lake. We just get stares and photographs and interest and intrigue from everyone the whole way up and down, and I think it's a great thing because we're doing something that I think is really Chinese, in a Chinese setting with a group of international and Chinese people, and it's a great way to kind of come together. And I've always thought that sport is just the best way to get to know people, and you come together with a common interest, and it attracts people with the similar ideas, but yet who you wouldn't necessarily have a chance to meet otherwise, and gives you something common to talk about and be a part of.
But tell it for not too bright people like me. Tell us what is dragon boating. What is a dragon boat?
I know.
Well, I really had watched some of the goose boat on Hohai, but never had any dragon boat on Hohai.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long boat. They're traditionally 20 people are seated. And
20
then
people,
there's
so like single file or double?
Double, so
Okay.
sitting beside each other.
So 10 by 2.
10 by 2 is a traditional boat, and then you've got a drummer and a sweep or a steer at the back. So there's 22 people on a boat.
Driver.
A driver. You might want to call it a driver. Yes,
I like simple words.
we'll bring it down a level. And so we don't have a boat that big, so we train in a 10-person boat. So we've got 5 by 2. And so...
But 5 by 2 plus a driver and a drummer.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what we train on in Hohai. And
But what does this boat look like?
Yeah, long and skinny.
Long, skinny.
It's got a dragon's head and a dragon's tail, ideally.
And a dragon's body.
And a dragon's body, and which we
bodies
are.
in it?
Which we are. So the idea
Or
is
12 bodies in it.
Well, there's 12 bodies, but 10 of them are working to move the boat. And
So the other 2 are just
watching.
lazy bodies.
basically, they're just adding weight. I mean, I tell them all the time, do not put a paddle in your hand and get involved, but...
And how much beer is involved?
Beer comes afterwards.
There's more weight? There's no way.
I think there's something to be said for it improving our performance. We're probably more known for our social aspect than our,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So there's 12 of you in the boat. We won't count the other 2. There's 10 of you in the boat working really hard to move the boat up the lake. And then once you get up the lake, you turn around for some reason?
Basically, and do it again.
Do it again.
Is not large, so, we do end up going round and around a few times, but...
Sounds like my life.
Is Hawaii an ideal training place?
We think it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, you've got, on clear evenings, you've got the hills in the background, you've got sun setting, you can see all the way down.
There are hills?
Basically. I know.
Where?
You don't have to come to Hohai and see them.
All right.
We've got lights on it. We train during the evenings in summer, so that, the lights come along along Hohai. It's not great, however, because we are probably a little bit spoilt in our training, and it's a nice flat lake, no waves, no interference. There are a few swimmers and a few duck boats to avoid. But when we go to races and competitions around China, we're often racing in much harder water with stronger currents. So it's probably not an ideal training ground, but it's awfully convenient and it's really beautiful.
All right, so you're in the boat, you go up and down the lake, and the 10 of you drag along those 2 other people. Do they serve any purpose whatsoever?
Well, the steerer has a relatively important role, and he gets us, or she gets us the right direction.
Gotcha.
And can turn us around. Otherwise, we would just be going straight all the time.
Onto land, and you'd still be there.
It'd be very impressive. So the drummer does have an important role to keep us in time. So we generally follow the first 2 people who are setting the stroke rate. So they would be going the first 2, and they work together with the drummer to try and make sure that, because it's very important that we're all in time. that is probably one of the key aspects of dragon boating is that you're completely in time. And the idea is that it's looking like a caterpillar, almost caterpillar's legs, you know, that they're all going together and moving forward and keeping it going as fast as it can. So the drama is there. I don't know if you've ever watched some dragon boating.
I've never seen any of this. Aside from your wonderful description, I have no idea what we're talking about.
Chris, do you know that there's a part of Chinese culture that's being associated with dragon boat?
Not until Susan explained it to me just now.
And that is?
I don't know.
What is it?
Susan,
what is it?
That is? What is?
What part of Chinese culture?
Yes, the
Jingjing has a
dragon
pop
boat.
quiz for you. Good luck.
I'm confused. Ask the question again.
The festivals we have.
Oh yes, Dragon Boating Festival. Yeah, it's really exciting, and we've been to Milor twice for the last 2 years, which is where it all began.
I think Chris need the story.
I do need the story. Tell me about the Dragon Boat Festival.
You're gonna have to help me though, because I've forgotten his name.
Okay, Quyuan.
There we go.
The poet.
Mr. Boat.
Mr. Poet.
I tried to explain a story to Chris last year, but I failed.
Oh really?
So
Yeah.
there's this big poet guy. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
All right,
okay, let's have
continue.
the story then today.
So there's the big poet guy who is
Okay.
living down in Milor.
That is his name, by the way.
Yes.
Big poet guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. BPG for short.
Okay,
And
thank you.
so he was down in Milor and was.
In where?
It's in Hunan.
River.
It's a river.
Okay.
And so he was doing something. He was being persecuted.
Yes.
For some of the things he was saying.
Political reasons.
Political reasons he was being
Okay.
persecuted. So he went out into the river, and he jumped into the river to drown himself. And so because he said, if they're not going
So
to go
this
with
is
me,
an uplifting story.
I suppose it does eventually. Very interesting question. You know what? If they're not going to understand me and listen to what I have to say, then and he jumped into the river and he tried to drown himself. Or
Okay.
did drown himself. And all his followers were so upset that they jumped into the river in dragon boats and raced out to try and get him.
Uh-huh.
And in order to try and stop the fish from eating what was his name?
Big poet guy.
BPG. In order to stop the fish from eating him, they threw zongzi, which is the sticky rice wrapped in bamboo leaves, and they threw that into the water so that the fish would eat the rice and the bamboo instead of eating
His
Big
body.
Poet guy. And that's how the Dragon Boating Festival started. Did I get it?
that.
Did I get it mostly right?
Yes, very
Okay.
correct.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the celebration every
So
year.
finally, we have Susan made this story clear.
Thank you very much, Susie. It's A+ for Susan.
I've moved up.
I know. She's getting a
Excellent.
good grade now.